Hello, everyone. Welcome to the God Case of Wanderlust podcast. I'm your host, Lydia, and today I'm joined by Daria, originally from Germany, but has been living in Lyon, France as an expat for 4 years now. Daria has also worked for a German tour company as a tour guide and is currently a freelancer for photography and social media management. So I'm very excited that Daria has joined us today. So, with that, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm also very happy.
Me as well. So, the first question I always like to ask is what sparked your wanderlust?
I guess it's always been a part of me. My parents were always traveling, even if it was not far, only in my home country and then to the neighbor countries. For me, it was normal to go somewhere, to go on holidays and explore. I also was a very outdoorsy kind of person. We did a lot of camping and nature trips. And I think that was kind of the beginning of me wanting to explore always new places, getting to know new people. I'm a very social person, so I love just doing that and getting around.
Yeah, family trips are always the starting point, I feel like. What inspired you to move abroad?
I guess it's my love for languages because when I was in school and then high school, I started to learn French. Well, English was my first language that I learned except from German, and then I started with French, and I fell in love with like being able to talk to people from other countries, and I think it came kind of natural. I didn't want to be a translator or work as a teacher. So I kept looking for opportunities to get and move abroad with just using the language I know, and that's how I moved to France.
Wow. And what were some of the initial cultural shocks you maybe experienced coming from Germany?
I think we're pretty close countries. In the first few months, I would say, or maybe years, there weren't as much differences, I would say. But still, it's like smaller cultural differences, how the people behave, how they are. I often got comments that I was very direct, and sometimes people like thought I was unpolite because I just always, when they asked me for my opinion, I told them, and they didn't understand it really well. And it took me some time to get it, how to manage like the social life here. And people are a lot more open, I would say, meeting new people, and a lot more. It's a vibe that is a lot more chill than in Germany, and I would say people are more outgoing and cherish life differently than we do. Food is a very important factor, and also meeting friends and hosting dinners or social events. So that was something I never experienced before in Germany, and yeah, I had to kind of get into here.
Mm. So how was that transition into the gastronomy of France? Like, would you say you're a fan of French food now? Like, or would you still choose German food over French food? What would you say?
I think a good mixture is everything. I love the food here. And as I live in a big city, Lyon's, I think, the third biggest city in France, there's so many different gastronomies here, and also a lot of mixtures, like the French cuisine mixed with Asian, mixed with South American or African food as well. So I think that's really cool and interesting. I sometimes miss German food, but I find so many things I love here. So yeah, that's fine for me.
Okay. And what would you say is your favorite French food now? Like, what is one thing that if you were to go back to Germany, like, you would miss?
I think it's maybe really a cliche, but I love baguette.
Okay,
It's
yes.
really good, and we don't have that good baguette in Germany. Well, we have good bread that I
Yes.
can't find here, but the baguette you can have in Germany. And I really love the pastries and desserts. That is really something really
Okay.
good here.
The bakery
Yeah.
scene is just unmatched. It's just, there's nothing like a good baguette or a good, like, I don't know how to say it in a French accent, but like a pain au chocolat, like chocolate
Yeah.
croissant. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed. And then what were maybe some of the hardest parts about adjusting to French culture, and like was it the finding friends part? Was it the language barrier for you? What did you wish you would have known beforehand?
I think at first you think of the language barrier because when I came here, my French was on a conversational level, but not perfect. And I thought if I will speak French perfectly, it will open me doors to everything. But actually, I think the hardest part was really getting into the social culture and meeting new friends. Because of course, people here that I met are already in their circles and are not maybe open to meet new people, or they met them and then they're like, oh yeah, it was nice, but I don't really need a new, like, really close friend in my life. So getting to that was really hard, and also adjusting and finding people that would get along with me well. Yeah, on just personal matters. But I think I did quite well. I was on some apps that connect people that maybe moved to a new city or got a new job, and through that I also met a lot of French persons. And yeah.
Mm. Are there specific apps to France, or like what were some of the apps that you used?
The I wanna they use the most is called Bumble. It's a normal dating app, but they have a friend mode, so you can just switch and then you just, well, I think they're basically just girls on this app, so on the friend mode. So yeah, it works like a normal dating app, and then you can chat and go off for a coffee or something. And it's the one I use the most. Yes.
Okay. I've used that myself a few times here in Madrid. It's very helpful to just know as many tools as you can when making new friends in somewhere you've never been before. That's really helpful. And then I know you also worked as a tour guide. So, can you talk about how you found this job with this German company and what was your role in it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I started in beginning of 2023 there, and I applied as a tour guide. Did a little workshop to learn everything I need to know for the job, and then I went with them on a freelance basis. My first trip I did was in Norway to the Lofoten Islands, and we had a holiday home there that was already organized from the company and rental cars. And my job was to organize activities, to keep the group together, because it was a group of complete strangers from all around Europe. So our basic language was English, as everyone, like, came from another country and nobody knew anyone. So my job was it to create a great environment for all of the people, and then finding activities that all of them liked. Sometimes we split up, sometimes people were more going to the beach, others going for a hike or to the sauna or stuff like that, sport activities. And that's what I planned the whole week, looked at the weather. I also looked at the different hikes, which kind of fitness level you need for which activity. And yeah, that was my job organizing it. I have done also other trips with them that were a bit different. For example, I went to Costa Rica last year, and there it was a round trip we did with less sport activities but more cultural, and yeah, exploring the country on a different side. So that was really cool. I was there kind of yeah, adjusting and making the communication part between the local operators that we had in Costa Rica and the group I was with. So yeah.
Wow, that seems like a lot of responsibility, organizing and leading the tours. But it must have been super rewarding to have so many interactions with different people and having and knowing that you played a part into their positive experience with the destination. Do you have any advice for maybe aspiring tour guides, things you wish you would have known before you started leading tours?
Mm-hmm. I think the thing you have to keep in mind the most is to trust yourself and to just do it. Because as someone who likes traveling and who has always motivation to discover a new country or a new destination, if you have the passion for it, you can absolutely do it and transmit this passion to other people. So you have to believe in yourself. I think that's the most difficult part, because a lot of times I was with people that were older than me, or yeah, with very important jobs or like head of something, and I felt a bit intimidated of them. And then I thought of me like, yeah, hey, but this is what I love, and I have so much knowledge I can give to them. So yeah, to just go for it.
Yes, and what was the most challenging part about researching and planning a tour? Like, how did you find the places you were going to bring guests to?
Mm, I think, yeah, that's really interesting because I researched everywhere on social media, also searched on TikTok or blogs, or sometimes I asked friends that I knew already went to one destination to kind of have a good overview. But I found it really challenging finding information or activities for a place I didn't go, because all of the places I went for this organization were my first time ever going in this country or going to this place in the country. So that was
Wow,
challenging. And
that's
telling the
crazy.
people, okay, we're doing this, we're going there, and they asked me, and how is it like there?
And you're
And
like,
I just told
I don't
them
know.
the information I had. So yeah, that was quite challenging.
Actually, I could kind of relate because I used to be a volunteer tour guide, but all of the places I visited, specifically for foods, like places that I've never been but I wanted to try. But everyone just assumes that since you're leading them there, you've been there before. But oftentimes that's not the case. But
Yeah, that's.
I assume everywhere you leaded them was worth it and they had a great time. Can you recall any time there was like maybe a bad guest experience or some challenge you had to deal with unexpectedly?
I wouldn't say bad experience, but I was in Finland in beginning of last year, and we had some tours already booked. For example, a husky sleigh ride, and there were so many activities that I had to put into a planning of 6 days. And then the company we did the tours with the dogs, they said that the dogs were ill, so we had to find another company and also manage to get the dates and the hours and everything of the planning. And it was really hard because I had a group of, I think, 14 people. Everyone wanted to do something different or different activities, but all wanted to go on this husky ride. And so for me, that was really hard. I spent like really days and nights calling companies and trying to put everything in place that everyone was happy and everyone could do the activities, and also that everyone could do what he thought of this trip, and still like having a good mood and everything also happened. Something like that sometimes happens. So that was quite challenging, and also maybe not so, yeah. So I felt very stressed in this moment, but at the end everything worked out.
So you ended up finding a good company.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I can imagine that's the most stressful part of the job, like just being responsible like for every aspect of the trip, and it's like no one else on that trip is like doing the work as well, so it's all on you. At times did you feel like too stressed out to enjoy it, or like how did you balance being in the moment, enjoying the trip, but also, you know, navigating the pressures, the responsibilities?
I would say most of the time it comes quite natural, because when I'm with my friends, for example, um, often it's also me that organizes the trip. Of course, I have less pressure and less expectations of the people I am with. So, what I always do and make sure is that it's a destination or a trip I really want to do and that interests me personally also a lot. So, doing research and working doesn't really feel like work. But what is really difficult as well is to kind of sometimes let go, because I always have to be there 24/7. If there's a problem, if someone wants to know something or needs tips for something, I have to be there and I have to get an answer. And that sometimes it's very challenging, especially after the trip. When I come home, I'm very tired and I'm very exhausted because I have been actively thinking and doing stuff like all the time. So yeah, that's sometimes a bit difficult. So I try to not do more than 2 weeks or something around that, to have time to like come back to myself and get my social battery up
Yes, as an introvert, I feel you. Were you also in charge of picking food spots, or were the guests like in charge of finding their own food places?
Most of the time, when we had holiday homes, we had like a house that was rented for the whole group, so we could cook. And I did suggestions about what kind of food we could cook, what kind of breakfast we can do. And then we went on shopping together. Everyone could put their input. And sometimes also for the restaurants, it was mostly more my part. I told them, do you want to go to a restaurant once, twice, or more? And they told me, yeah, we would like to try some local food or some street food or do a picnic, whatever. And then I was in charge to find something worth. But I always manage. Either I ask around in local cafes and bars if they could recommend something, or I already had some places in mind that I did research in beforehand. So, yeah.
Okay. In the times that you needed to kind of facilitate cooperation amongst members, like how did you go about navigating different opinions, or like needing to have people come to an agreement, you know?
Mm. I would say I'm a very peaceful person that doesn't like drama or getting into like uncomfortable situations or fights, I would say. So when it was possible, I tried to maybe split the group. If there were several opinions or several expectations, I tried to get two bubbles or sometimes three to get everyone happy. And in the end, sometimes I had situations where I just had to think, okay, they're all here, they want to experience something good, and they've all paid for this experience. But in the end, it's me, the tour leader, and everyone wants something different. So now it's me that decides, and we just do that. So I know that it's not the best way in most of the situations, but sometimes the group is just lost and they don't really have someone and don't know in which direction to go. So yeah, I just have to take the leading part in that moment.
Yeah, just stepping up as like the authority figure you are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that gets easier the more trips you've led.
Yeah, sure, of course.
So, as a solo traveler as well, outside of leading groups, when you solo travel, what kind of things do you enjoy? Like, how do you spend your alone time?
I found it quite hard at the beginning to solo travel. The first time I did was in Spain. Um, and it's sometimes hard, especially in the beginning, to get out of my comfort zone and actually talk to other people because I want to meet people and maybe go out for a party or explore the city with someone together. Um, but sometimes I'm afraid, so that's quite challenging in the beginning. And then I really like to have a good balance and hear my intuition and see, okay, I really want to do something calm. So mostly I focus also on the food. For example, I that structures kind of my day. I always start with the breakfast somewhere, and then I think of once or twice I can eat on other times of the day. So that's what also is important for me, to search for good restaurants, cafes, and something like that. And then I kind of go with the flow, I would think. For all of the places I go, I have little expectations or kind of knowledge what I want to do, but not very punctual or very like precise that I need to do this, of course, and if I haven't done it, I'm sad. So I go there and then I know, okay, this is a place where I could go on water activities or maybe just chill and read or do nothing. So I'm kind of choosing my mood and then choosing the activities I do.
Yeah, I think having like a more free flowing schedule allows you to deepen your travel experience rather than being super strict about the things you do, because travel doesn't always go to plan, of course.
Yeah.
And so being flexible is really important. Um, what city would you say, or which destination have you traveled to where you've enjoyed the food the most? Can you pick one place?
Mm, I would say it's Mexico.
Mm.
I don't know if I can name a city or a place because I tried little and everywhere. Oh, maybe Oaxaca in Mexico because they have a really big variety of Mexican food and traditional dishes and more modern Mexican dishes. And I just like the cuisine, the flavors, and there's so much to try. Yeah, I think that's my top one.
I know that part of Mexico is specifically known for its gastronomy and dying to go. Was there a specific dish you tried that you enjoyed like the most or was just unexpected?
I didn't try it there, but I tried it in Mexico City. It was the dish chilaquiles. I don't know if you know it. It's kind of a soup dish with tortillas in it, and I really liked the taste of it, and also the mole sauce. I really liked it. I went to the market and tried different ones as well. Yeah, I think that were maybe the ones that I kept in my head. But after that, I tried all of the dishes. Sometimes I don't remember how they were called because I
Okay.
just tried here and there. So yeah.
Yeah, just kind of being in the moment. It's hard to remember specific names.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I would like to move into our rapid fire round. So, the first question is, what is a special place in your heart?
Mm, oh, that's a difficult question. I would say anywhere near the ocean.
Mm, me too. Second, what is a memorable meal you've had?
um, I went to a Finnish traditional restaurant and had a really, really traditional old Sami food. I don't eat meat, so I went for the fish and salmon part, and there were a lot of salads and dishes of potatoes and like pickled onions and stuff like that. And I think that was very special and good food.
Okay. Trying the indigenous food is always a really interesting and also very informative experience about the culture you're in. And then lastly, what is a dream destination for you?
Mm, at the moment, I would say Southeast Asia because I haven't been, but there's not one country or one region that I focus. I think if I had to choose now to go somewhere, it would be Indonesia or maybe the Philippines. But I can't choose. I think I would have to go some month and go everywhere.
No, I totally feel you. It's like the desire to literally go everywhere on this planet. Okay, well, with that, thank you so much for your insights. I love learning about being a tour guide because leading tours is something I really would love to do more in the future. I know that there's an organization online called Join My Trip where anyone can create like a travel trip and you could just recruit online. So hopefully one day I could do that, and your advice definitely enlightened me, and I hope it enlightens others who are looking to do the same. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much also for your time and the questions. Was very interesting getting to dip into that another time, being at home, not able to travel at the moment. So that was really cool.
Thank you so much for listening to the Gotta Case Wanderlust podcast. Again, my name is Lydia, and you can find me on social media in the About section of this podcast. Please rate and review if you found value or insight from this, and I hope to see you in the next episode.